Lore Together is proud to be part of the Boss Rush Games Network. Feel free to find out more at bossrushgames.com/network. Hi, I'm Safi.
And I'm Mystic.
And this is Lore Together. This is the podcast where a husband and wife team go over all the storytelling, world building, and characters of video games. Because it's what we like to do together. We lore together.
Yep, and this is episode 131.
Thanks for joining us today on another episode where we hope to give you a bit of reprieve from the day-to-day, dare I say, and we focus more on something fun. And
you should have kept that rhyme going. That'd been cool.
Look, I cannot spit hot fire on the mic all the time, Mystic. Can't do it. It's asking too much.
But before we get into the episode, if you'd like to contact us, you can do that in many different ways. Instagram, Blue Sky, Mastodon, Reddit, YouTube, Steam, and Discord down in the description below. Or you can contact us via email at loretogether@gmail.com. And if you'd like to support the podcast, you can do that in many different ways. First is by giving us a thumbs up, 5 stars, whatever it is, wherever you're listening, we appreciate it. The other way is through Patreon at patreon.com/loretogether, where you can pay a per episode pledge to get early access to episodes, exclusive access to some Let's Plays, voting rights in our public Let's Plays.
I'm going to be giving patrons at $2 or $3, if I can figure it out, free e-reading copies of my book, Mother Revolution, when it comes out. I mean, thank you for your support all these years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's plenty of perks, some of which I have not delivered on as fast as I'd like, and other ones which we've definitely surprised
Primal
you guys
Rage
with.
Avatars.
I will do the audiobook at some point. I've got a lot of projects going on right now, but right now we're not worried about that. We're worried about what this episode's going to be.
Well, I do want to go a little bit more into what we always say, private Let's Plays, public Let's Plays. Our private Let's Plays currently is mostly me doing them, but those have been Riven, Firmament, and also Cyberpunk, a little bit of Skyrim, and Jade Empire. And our public Let's Plays have been the gamut. We've had Skies of Arcadia, we've had Abduction, we've had...
Basically, we take the opportunity to go through the whole game for stories we've covered or touched upon in our episodes, where we only did our little first hour live stream and realized we want to go back for more. Yeah. And specifically, fans were a lot more invested with some of these. So I think we got requested Mass Effect in particular. Mm-hmm. And that's part of the reason we did the first Mass Effect and the second Mass Effect, which you can see for free on our YouTube.
Yes.
And you can always join the live streams. But when we do choices in those, patrons get double points.
Yeah.
So,
or sometimes the only points if I remember to put up a poll. So
if you remember to put up a poll, yeah, Mystic will put up a poll and try to get some votes beforehand. But with those games, there's so many little choices too. Sometimes we can wait and give it a minute or two, see what comes up in the chat, and we're happy to hear what you guys want to do. But we should get to the episode because I'm excited to see what you
We are
have.
Getting back to a franchise that we have not touched in almost 100 episodes.
Okay, so it's been 100 episodes-ish.
Almost 100.
Almost 100. Fudge. Because, of course, everything I'm thinking of has been in the last 100 episodes.
I have probably mentioned this franchise in that time, but it has not been a main thing.
We did everything with Far Cry. Fiddlesticks.
It is a RPG series.
I'm like blanking. What? Mystic, just tell me.
We are going to be going into the sequel to Final Fantasy X, which we covered back in episode 35.
How did I not even think? Okay. I forget to think of the greats like that. But yeah, we did do Final Fantasy X. That feels like forever ago. You're absolutely right. Wow. And I'm still going to know absolutely nothing.
Well, if you want to remember any of it, please go back and listen to episode 35 because we're not going to cover a lot of it.
No,
So-
but we do cover the whole story there and the protagonist and all that fun stuff. We even talk a little bit about that, memeable laughing scene.
Oh, God. So this is the first game to get a sequel in the Final Fantasy series, unless you want to count Final Fantasy V, which had an anime set 200 years later. That could be seen as a sequel, I guess.
I guess it is a sequel. But
not a game sequel.
It's not a direct game sequel. It's not. You're not seeing any of the same characters, just the effect on the world, I guess.
Now, obviously, there's been some shuffling of this as later games have sequels, and sequels have been added to previous games as they were remade or re-released. But for the time, this was the first game that had a actual sequel.
Proof of concept that people wanted it, that fans appreciated going back to the same Final Fantasy universe, because they're all kind of standalone-ish stories, right?
Yes.
Okay.
There's common elements. There's always a Cid. There's always a Biggs and a Wedge.
And
there's always...
the Chocobos? Or whatever they're called?
The Chocobos. No, I don't think they're always there, but I think they are. There's common enemies. There's always common summons or whatever. At least until 10. I honestly do not... I know nothing about 11 and on.
Okay.
And I do know they got away from turn-based. They got away, so I don't know about anything past that. I do have on our list Final Fantasy 15 eventually.
That's the
I have
MMO,
not
right?
Played it yet? No.
No, that's not. Okay.
12. I think it's 12 and 14, maybe 11 and 14. I don't know, but yeah. There's also 1 through 9 that we haven't touched either.
Absolutely. So. And I'm sure there's somebody screaming out there like, when are they going to cover 7? It'll happen, guys.
So the world of Spira has changed a lot. After 1,000 years of living under Sin's threat, the populace, the Yevon religion, and the Albed are all very different now. But the places are all where you'd expect, and there's no world-shattering cataclysm that has shaken up terra firma. The religion has mostly been abandoned by the younger population as they embrace technology, though the older generations feel things are changing too fast.
I mean, I just want everybody to know, back in the day, the argument that, the youth don't understand what needs to happen was being said, I think, by some great Greek philosopher like Aristotle.
Yeah.
Like, this
generational strife has been with us since there's been generations.
Yeah, I mean, there's a great meme where somebody basically goes through every newspaper opinion that's about the youth don't understand. The youth don't understand either. The youth will never understand. It's okay. It's not your world anymore once you get old enough. It's the youth's world. Let them have it. Like, it's fine.
The Albed, who are ostracized for their use of technology, are no longer looked down upon, and in fact, their innovations are welcomed in this new world. It is a more uplifting world than the previous one, though there are still people unwilling to let things go and people willing to fight and kill for their ideals.
Oh, great. That's exactly what we were hoping for. Woo.
2 years after Sin's defeat, Yuna, now a high summoner, leads a quiet and boring life in Besaid when Riku, one of the companions from the previous game, and an Albed, presents her with an ancient sphere recording discovered by Kamari, who was another one of the party members we could have. Mm-hmm. Basically, all the party members were Yuna's guardians. The sphere shows a captive man strongly resembling Tidus, demanding to see the summoner. Along with Riku's encouragement, this gives Yuna a purpose to find more spheres and maybe find out if Tidus is still alive somehow.
So, wait, remind me the state of Tidus from the end of the last game.
Tidus.
Oh, excuse me. Tidus, excuse me.
Tidus kind of just fades from existence unless you get like a very specific ending. He fades as basically this dream Xanarkand fades from existence.
And that was to like write some sort of magical misalignment.
Yeah. And Yuna loves him and stuff, but he's gone.
He has to go, so he's the sacrifice that allows because Tidus was our main character in the first Final Fantasy X.
This one it's Yuna.
Okay, and now this one is Yuna. Okay.
Yeah. So Yuna joins Riku to become a sphere hunter. Now, sphere hunters are a new thing, starting about 6 months after the Calm. It's called the Eternal Calm, basically the death of Sin. With Sin dead, the Spirans are able to travel about freely, and some discovered spheres, which showed the history of the world.
Oh, okay.
So basically, it's a person or an area or whatever. It's a sphere that shows history, essentially memory, like the memories of the world.
Interesting. Okay.
So different groups have sprung up. These are more than sphere hunters. They are the new face of politics, essentially. They include the Youth League, who are trying to find all the spheres to share them with the world.
Okay.
And New Yevon, which is a group formed from the former Church of Yevon, which were kind of bad guys, but not bad guys. I mean, they were very gray at the best.
Okay.
But why are they interested? To control the narrative of history. Basically, they want to be able to control the ones that portray them in a poor light.
Oh, that's so prescient right now.
Yuna, Riku, and their new friend Pain are all members of a sphere hunting group called the Gull Wings, led by Riku's brother, who is named Brother.
What?
Yes.
Hey, wait. Okay. Sorry. This is my shtick.
No, this was in Final Fantasy X also. You meet him then, and it's...
Is it that he never got a name? Kind of like...
I think it's an Albed thing. I don't remember off the top of my head. It's been over 100. It's been also 100 episodes. So.
No, I'm just trying to remember because... Yeah, I don't remember because naming somebody Brother, like...
Well, Brother's friend Buddy...
Oh, jeez.
Co-pilots their airship, the Celsius.
What children's book is this?
Shinra is in... What?
The ship's name... I'm sorry, I interrupted. What's the ship's name that they...
Celsius.
Celsius.
Yeah.
They named it after a measurement of
it's not
temperature.
A measurement there.
How do they measure their temperature?
I don't know. Shinra is an Albed boy prodigy who devised the girls' dress sphere system to enhance their battle abilities. There is a lot of J-pop idol magical girl trope feel to this game.
I'm here for that girl power.
Outfits change a lot, there's dance moves, and it's a bit on the nose for the first Final Fantasy with an all-female protagonist group, but it is what it is. And it's all pretty cemented in the first cutscene when you start the game, which features Yuna dancing on stage while singing in front of a huge crowd with her clothes changing like Sailor Moon, while Riku and Pain have altercations with some goons.
You know, I'm not mad at this. I kind of like this aesthetic of like girl band save the world stuff.
Yuna, Riku, and Pain go out to sphere hunting missions as a trio dubbed YRP. Fair enough. LeBlanc, a rival sphere hunter, has stolen Yuna's garment grid, allowing her to perform a concert in Luca under Yuna's guise.
Oh, that's not good.
This is actually that cutscene that opens the game. LeBlanc is on stage looking like Yuna. Riku and Pain disrupt the show while Yuna wanders around incognito.
Oh, interesting.
When Riku and Pain confront LeBlanc on stage, she flees. They chase LeBlanc to the docks, where Yuna joins the fray, literally jumping in, guns blazing, and reclaims her garment grid.
This is intense. I was like, oh yeah, girl power. And then you're like, but now they're shooting each other in order to get their pretty dress back. I don't know how I feel about this.
So when in this outfit, out of nowhere, Yuna finds herself overcome with excitement and dances uncontrollably as she wears this songstress dress sphere. She has no idea why. It's like someone else's emotions are taking over, which is both frightening and also intriguing to her.
Yeah, I could see that.
Back on the Celsius, the Gull Wings look for hidden spheres all over Spira. They pick up a signal from the recently discovered floating ruins at Mount Gagazat's peak. Yuna, Riku, Pain, and the LeBlanc Syndicate, actually, all race for the sphere, but our heroes manage to emerge victorious. When they bring it on board the Celsius, they find that the sphere is a recording of ancient Xanarkand, which is good, but it doesn't offer them any new information on Tidus or anything else.
Right.
So Shinra turns it into a new dress sphere for the girls to use in battle. Now, each member of our party have different looks for each dress sphere. They also all have one unique dress sphere to them, which is a bit like a job system you might be more used to.
Oh, okay, yes.
Except in this case, you can swap them in mid-battle, which is kind of cool.
You can swap outfits that give you magical powers mid-battle.
Yes.
Man, living in the future is a crazy time.
So compared to Final Fantasy X, this is a bit more freeform early on. That one was a lot more linear. This is much less linear. The team can pretty much go anywhere. The story here is mission-based. Do certain missions, the main plot moves forward.
Well, I kind of like that, too, because you have to acknowledge the fact that these people now have somewhat of a reputation after they've helped save the world the first time. So because of that...
And yet they still are not as strong as they were before.
Shh, they took a break, okay? They took a really long vacation.
Visiting Besaid Village, Yuna takes time to apologize for her sudden disappearance to Lulu and Waka, who we spent a lot of time with in Final Fantasy X, as they were also two of Yuna's guardians. Mm-hmm. The two of them have since become married, and Lulu is pregnant with their first kid. Our team helps Waka look for a sphere in the Besaid Cave and learn of his anxiety toward fatherhood. He never got to actually know his own parents, so
he doesn't know what it should feel like to be like a parent because he doesn't have a lot of examples of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
As our heroes investigate the sphere waves emanating from the Zanarkand ruins, they discover the locale has become a tourist attraction promoted by Riku and brother's father, Sid, alongside the former summoner, Isaru. In an underground ruin, the Gullwings discovered the sphere they were after, but it's only a fragment and useless for viewing or even as a dress sphere. The team has the option of sabotaging the attraction by spreading monkeys around the ruins to dampen tourists' interest in visiting.
Are these look like normal monkeys, or are these like magical Final Fantasy special monkeys?
I do not know that one.
Okay.
Sorry. Sid is obviously pretty upset over all this, especially coming from Riku and Yuna, and leaves the ruins to Usaru to oversee. The hostilities between the Youth League and New Yevon build to a head as the wiki literally called this one an awesome sphere.
An awesome sphere?
Yeah.
So they're using it in the old style sense.
Is discovered in the rebuilt Kilika.
Okay.
The two factions compete over it, but the Gullwings swoop in and obtain their sphere. I'm not sorry.
Wait, what?
The Gullwings swoop in.
Boo. I'm only doing it because he would do that to me.
Yeah, probably. It contains images of a weapon called Vegnagun hitting beneath Bevel. And we're talking an old weapon, like over 1,000 years old. So not outside the realm of what we've discovered in Final Fantasy X so far.
True.
But still old. It's a machina that is weirdly empathetic. It can tell if someone approaching it means to do it harm.
Okay.
But beyond that, it is unable to distinguish friend from foe.
So it just kind of bevels from state to state. I'm getting you back. I didn't write that one in the script. All right? You started this war.
Problem is, it's got enough power to destroy pretty much all of Spira.
Oh, that's inconvenient.
Yeah. The sphere also shows the man who resembles Tidus mentioning someone named Lene. Over the evening, the Gullwings celebrate their success with Yuna singing for everyone in the songstress dress sphere. However, afterwards, she becomes angry, basically wondering who Lene is, and in the end, she storms off to bed. In bed, she dreams of herself and Tidus stuck in an underground passage and being shot by guards before Vegnagun. When she awakes, Riku blames the nightmare on the fact that Yuna wore the songstress dress sphere to bed, which we already know makes her act a bit weird.
Yeah, and also, why wear a costume to bed? Like, I'm sure it's not. If it's that easy to change mid-battle, you have no excuse. Get comfy.
The Gullwings return the sphere to either the Youth League or New Yevon, based on what the player wants to do, and gain allegiance with their chosen faction, but become enemies of the opposing one.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. While our team is out to deliver the sphere, LeBlanc returns to the story and breaks onto the Celsius and steals the half sphere that they found in the Zanarkand ruins.
Oh, okay.
Intent on reclaiming it, our heroes search high and low throughout Spira. They locate some syndicate members, steal their uniforms, and infiltrate Chateau LeBlanc.
Don't you love how easy it is to find uniforms that fit you exactly?
Well, when you have a magical thing that can change your appearance.
You know what? Yeah, in this game it tracks. That's fair.
There, they discover that LeBlanc had the other half of the sphere that they had found, and she had stole theirs to restore her half.
Okay.
Confronted, LeBlanc explained she hunts spheres to gain the affections of Nooj.
Nooj?
N-O-O-J.
Nooj, that...
Just a Nooj.
Just a Nooj. This is like Dr. Seuss book level of naming right now.
Nuge is the Youth League's leader. Since the Goings are neutral enough and not exactly against her cause, they join forces to investigate the Bevel Underground, now that they know of it and Vegnagun. This restored sphere plays a huge part, giving them some much-needed information for their exploration. Unfortunately, they realize that Vegnagun has moved to the far plane at Spira's core. Now, if you don't remember, the far plane is basically where the dead go when they've accepted their death, or when they are sent by a sender or a summoner, which was kind of what Yuna was doing in the first game, for the most part.
All right, I think I remember that part.
Disagreements between Spira's factions escalate after Baralai, Nuge, and Gipal, the leaders of New Yevon, the Youth League, and the Machine faction, respectively, go missing.
Oh, geez.
Returning to the Bevel Underground, the Goings discover the missing faction leaders discussing Vegnagun. Previously, Nuge came to Bevel to destroy Vegnagun, prompting it to escape to the far plane as, again, it can detect if someone means to do it harm and get itself out of there.
Yes, exactly.
Yuna and Riku now learn that Pain had once been friends with the three men.
Oh.
Yeah, she was assigned as their sphere recorder when they were candidates for the Crimson Squad, an elite group intended to receive leadership of different Crusaders chapters. That would be the Church of Yevon's military across Spira.
Okay, all right. I might not perfectly keep up with everything, but I think I'm.
That's fine. We're starting to get more into a single storyline at this point.
Okay.
2 years earlier, in a cave called the Den of Woe.
Wow, super creative, guys.
Yeah, their squad were on a bit of a mission. Pyreflies, which are the energy that comprises all life on Spira, basically everything is made of pyreflies, swarmed them, making them all quite crazy and driven to kill one another.
This feels like spiritual cancer.
The only survivors were Pain and the three leaders.
The only thing to survive the assault was Pain.
God.
How poetic is that, guys?
In the aftermath, though, they were all targeted by the Yevon Order when they revealed that they had seen images of Vegnagun while in the cave.
Oh.
Even after all this, Nuge shot his teammates.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he didn't kill them, but it certainly puts a damper on their relationship.
So that's taking it lightly. Oh, I'm sorry I shot you. I'm sure you don't trust me now. Don't trust you? Sir, give me that gun back. I'll show you how much I don't trust you.
Unbeknownst to the others, though, Nuge hadn't shot them of his own accord.
Oh.
While they were fighting for their lives in the cave with the Pyreflies, a wicked spirit entered his body. This spirit was kind of why they were all shooting each other to begin with. Basically, its emotion had infused into the Pyreflies and basically feeds into them as a result.
Okay,
Yeah.
So this sounds very similar to the kind of possession that happens in, and of course, my brain's there because this is my current comfort game, is in Dragon Age in particular, spirits will possess somebody inspired by a certain feeling or emotion, and therefore that person, whether they become an abomination and have that, they kind of carry either that emotion purely or more likely will evolve in time to morph that spirit into something else. So
basically the Pyreflies had forced upon them the complete and utter despair of Shuyin, a young man who died 1,000 years ago.
Oh, man.
Before the survivors could leave the cave, Shuyin's spirit, requiring a host to interact with the physical world, possessed Nuge and forced him to shoot his comrades. In the time since, Shuyin has been goading Nuge on a subconscious level, essentially.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, basically a voice in the back of his head, coercing him to approach Vegnagun so he could use Nuge's body to control it.
So this spirit wants to jump from Nuge to Vegnagun?
This one wants to use Nuge's body to control Vegnagun. Yeah. Basically control with controls.
Oh, duh. Yeah,
Nuge's will, though, was too strong for Shuyin to be completely in control, and his desire to destroy the Machina prompted it to flee. So, desiring a new host, Shuyin leaves Nuge's body and possesses Bavaralai, pursuing Vegnagun into the far plane. Basically, all right, you're done going to this person and go.
Okay. All right.
Shuyin's Despair also corrupts the former Aeons, which are the summons that we had in the previous game.
Yeah, that sounded familiar to me.
Which begins to emerge from the now defunct temple scattered all over Spira as fiends.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so that becomes our main goal of our heroes are going to go visit each temple and quell the fiend outbreak. And in the course of doing that, they will also save Waka from the Besaid Temple, where he had gotten stranded during his own attempt to stop the fiends, because of course he has some experience with that. He was fighting them in Final Fantasy X.
That's fair. That's fair.
Everybody pretty much scolds him for putting himself in danger, especially because he's about to become a father. It's like, what are you doing?
Well, it's so funny because this theme always comes up a lot, specifically with fatherhood, of like, I'm not ready to be responsible for something precious and small, so I have to run away and risk my life to prove that, you know, it's kind of like I'm going to pursue the fear that I know rather than the fear that I don't know.
Which I get.
Like, no, I understand. I understand it. It's very much, people lean on that trope a lot for fathers. In particular. I just want to note that.
Possibly because, as you and I have talked about this before, women are brought up more ready to be parents, I feel.
Culturally, in our society, yes, that is true. That women are brought up with the assumption of maternal instincts.
Yeah.
This has not historically always been a great idea.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on, back to the story.
Yeah. One of his biggest detractors, though, is Becklem, a Youth League member sent to Besaid to train the Besaid Aurochs Blitzball team, who have all joined the faction.
That's right. This whole series started with Blitzball, in theory, didn't it?
Yes. I remember that was one of the first things you did, and you hated it.
Hated it.
He also disdains Yuna as a relic of the past, saying the time of summoners in Spira is over.
Oh. Okay. So wait, spirits are going to make demands now and want equal rights and stuff?
More like with Sin gone, the fiends are not as much of a thing until this cropped up and happened, but this is a one-time thing. How many times is this going to happen?
Right, fair.
Yeah. Despite that, after defeating a possessed Aeon named Ixion at the Jose Temple, its surprise final attack sends Yuna falling into a hole in the ground that once held the temple's Faith statue. She emerges in the far plane, wearing the songstress dress sphere, and meets Baralai possessed by Shuyin. He mistakes her for Lene because of the dress sphere, and Yuna is feeling some affection toward him that is clearly not her own.
Oh wow, okay. That's horrifying.
Yeah. Yuna listens to him describe waking after dying alone and unable to find Lene. After a millennium dead and stuck, he is angry that Spirans haven't understood the heartache that war causes. Keep in mind that New Yevon and the Youth League and the other groups aren't just Sphere Hunters. These are new political organizations that have sprung up, and they don't like each other. In fact, the Youth League are often seen as ruffians who just want to fight.
Right.
But that's also according to the New Yevon people. So basically, Shuyin plans to use Vegnagun to destroy the world, ending the possibility of another war, which is a bit of an overcorrection.
Yeah, I mean, that's technically true. Once again, I'm reminded, this happens a lot in fantasy, so even though I'm referencing Dragon Age, it's just to say that this is something that crops up in stories. It's kind of like the premise of our antagonist in the latest Dragon Age game, where I'm the only one who can fix my mistake, which means essentially destroying everything that has been working for this world for the eons. Like, I'm going to fix it my way. Nana.
Even to go to one of our favorite episodes and Let's Plays we did, with Beleza from Skies of Arcadia, I hate war, so one nation must rule everything so there's no more strife and no more war. And it's like, that doesn't work ever.
Yeah, no, that's not how that works. That's never how that works. Everybody likes to think that empires solve problems until finally the empire starts to conquer, and they're like, wait a second, not like this.
Yeah.
Ugh.
While the possessed Baralai continues further into... By the way, I'm maybe mispronouncing all of these names. It's been forever since I played this game, so...
Yeah, please forgive us.
While the possessed Baralai continues further into the far plane, Yuna meets Nuj and Gipal, who are both pursuing him. They ask Yuna to keep things under control on the surface. Frankly, Yuna is confused and honestly to wit's end and angry about the revelation she's been forced to deal with, but nevertheless finds her way out of the far plane.
I'd be frustrated too. You're asking me to do all this emotional work and burden with this dress, which is the only way I'm really getting answers for this mystery. And meanwhile, I'm only going through all of this because I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my friend Tidus, and instead I'm being forced to feel emotions for people I don't know in ways I'm not comfortable with, delving me into spiritual planes that I did not agree to enter originally.
Right.
This is basically she's being forced to be the hero. She's not okay with it, and I would be the same. I'd be like, why are you giving me this mess?
I think she's okay with being a hero. She's already been one.
Well,
but
I don't think like this. I think the means is the problem.
Yeah. So the cross-factional strife escalates with their leaders missing, and Yuna decides to honor Nuge and Capal's wish of her to take care of things topside. The Gullwings organize a concert with the promoter Tobley's help, to which everyone in Spira is invited, Youth League and New Yevon supporters alike, to foster a sense of kinship. It turns out that the songstress dress for Yuna wears during the concert holds Lene's memories, which I think we could have guessed by now.
Yeah, makes sense, yes.
But I don't think we would have guessed that it would react with the sphere screen Shinra had built to display the show for the spectators. It projects Lene's recollections of her and Shuyun's last moments for everyone to see, which aren't great.
It sounds like the ghost who was mad at her had a different idea of what actually happened.
No.
Okay.
No. They don't end well. I mean, it's not exactly as Shuyun would probably picture it, but it doesn't end well. Witnessing these images, Spirans all have a collective enlightenment about the strife and war they partake in and how it's so damaging to them all.
Oh, wow.
Power of music? I don't know.
Wow. Power of music is really just the power of empathy right there.
The wise man, Machen, 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 I think? Yeah.
I'm going to go with it.
Comes aboard the Celsius and explains everything to the Gullwings. 1,000 years ago, Shuyun lived in the high-tech metropolis of Zanarkand and was the lover of a popular songstress and summoner, Lene. The two lived during the Machina War, Zanarkand's war with the more powerful Bavel, and Zanarkand ordered all summoners to the front lines, separating the couple.
Oh, wow.
Shuyun thought the only way to save Lene was to infiltrate Bavel, commandeer Vegnagun, and use it to destroy Zanarkand's enemies. Lene perceived Shuyun's intentions and followed him. When she caught up to Shuyun in Bavel, he had begun to operate Vegnagun, but before he could use the cannon to destroy the city, Lene pleaded for him to stop. Bavel's soldiers shot the couple, and Shuyun failed to hear Lene say she loved him before they died. Over the following 1,000 years, Shuyun's lingering despair and resentment over his failure to save Lene bonded to Fireflies and made him re-experience the anguish of that moment.
Again and again. Oh my gosh.
So I can kind of see how he's become a little bit overcorrective.
Yeah, kind of like let me make sure nobody ever feels this level of pain ever again. His
pain became so powerful it began acting on its own, and he became to believe that in addition to helping the world, he would fade away with Lene if he destroyed Spira.
Oh, so he just wanted to be gone completely.
Yeah. During her travels, Yuna has a chance to better many people's lives. Now, I won't run down most of them because we don't need that many names in this episode.
See, I'm already having a hard time with some of these proper nouns. I'm sorry.
Suffice to say, like in most RPGs, our main hero has an impact, big and small. We do see Waka and Lulu's newborn son and help Sid reconcile with his kids, and there's a lot more small impact she can have.
Okay.
Suffice to say, hero is hero.
Hero be heroing, okay.
Although the factional fighting has ceased, Shuyun has nearly carried out his plan to use Vegnagun to destroy Spira from beneath. Joining forces with the LeBlanc Syndicate, the Gullwings make their way to the far plane and find Capal and Nuge battling Vegnagun.
Oh, wow.
They disable the Machina before its cannon can fire at Spira, and Shuyun's spirit abandons Baralai, becoming corporeal before battling the Gullwings.
Oh, wow. Oh, so he still is on the warpath.
Yeah. Lena's consciousness emerges from the songstress dress sphere that we've had this whole time to convince Shuyun to forsake his mission and be at rest. Now, Final Fantasy X-2.
Yeah.
does feature multiple endings, depending on a lot of different criteria.
Oh my gosh.
So the standard ending features Nuge, Gapal, Baralai addressing the people of Spira in Lucas Stadium, announcing the dissolution of their respective factions for the peace of the world. Yuna and the Gullwings depart for Besaid on the Celsius, and Yuna's story continues as she embraces her new life. Completing the game with more than 75% of the story completion, and again, like, you don't have to do everything. Only certain missions will move you forward to the next chapter.
Oh wow, okay.
Or without achieving specific criteria, plays a short cutscene before the ending. As our heroes depart from the far plane, Tidus' spirit bids Yuna farewell as she accepts that she will always love him.
No.
Completing at least 75% of the story and fulfilling specific criteria plays an additional FMV after the credits roll. So, later. The Faith have located Tidus' scattered Pyrephies and sent them to Besaid, where he surfaces from the water. Yuna and Tidus reunite while Riku, Pain, Waka, Lulu, and the people of Besaid celebrate.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Should the player achieve 100% storyline completion?
Oh my gosh. Should you make this your full-time job and look up every little nook and cranny of this game, which will probably take up, let me guess, like 400 hours of your time?
Probably not that long.
It feels like it sometimes, though.
A final cutscene shows Tidus and Yuna traveling to the Xanarkand ruins. Tidus wonders if he's still a dream of the Faith and in danger of disappearing. Yuna assures he won't, and stands in the same place Tidus stood 2 years before, bringing the story around full circle.
Oh, man. Wow. Okay. So, there's a lot of themes about
when we cover
emotion and trauma and...
When we cover the big RPG, like the JRPGs, we tend to get bogged down in all the names and everything, but the themes are all very clear usually.
Yeah. No, this is very much about, not just grief, but acceptance of grief and acceptance of what you can do with it. I mean, yeah, of course, everybody wants Tidus to come back if he can, because cute love story is cute. But there's also this sense of there is something after someone you love passes on. Mm-hmm. And there will be something to look forward to. Yep. You can't just stay in the moment for 1,000 years and then destroy the world over it. just a thought, guys.
Yep.
So
classic story, but you have to learn to let things go. I was about to say let it go, but we don't want to go down that.
Oh my gosh, no, not the memes. No, we have to let things go. And then I just think about Ted Farrow, who just couldn't let things go. God, right. I hate that man. I hate him so much. I'm sorry. It's just like you were talking about, yeah, we have to learn to let things go. I was like, yeah, unlike that. Man, okay.
Okay, quite possibly, like, that guy has more deaths on his hands than anyone else we have ever talked about. The extinction of
all life on planet Earth.
Like, we have talked about...
Talk about billions.
He's killed, like, the Reapers...
Yes.
As a race, kill more. But, like, an individual Reaper doesn't. You
Correct.
know?
Correct. And we still don't necessarily know why they do it. They say they're perfecting life, but is that really it?
We'll get there when we get to Mass Effect 3 and our Let's Plays at some point.
Yeah.
But either way, so that's Final Fantasy X-2, which... So the other thing I did read was the developers initially hated that.
Really?
They're like, why can't we just make it 11? Like, why does it have to... Because, and it, like, yes, it's a sequel, but maybe we shouldn't do a sequel. We've never done a sequel. And eventually they accepted that it's just going to have to be what it is.
Yeah.
So.
No, I understand it just because they had a whole 9 games before where the sequel was not simply the next sequential number. And that was over a decade or so.
And there were no actual story sequels.
Right.
So
for considering how long it'd been running, we didn't want to confuse events. So you say 10-2, and then like as much as the fans are like, after a point, they embrace it because it's very explicitly talking about this is the sequel to this iteration, and then Final Fantasy 11 gets to be its own thing.
Yeah, and if they do this again too. There's Final Fantasy 13 and Final Fantasy 13-2.
Yeah.
And we're not even going to get into the naming conventions of
Kingdom Hearts
because I do not have the patience for it.
Too many people have lost their minds on the internet over Kingdom Hearts and its naming conventions. It's just not, we're not able to do that right now. But maybe another time.
Thank you guys for listening. I do intend on doing Kingdom Hearts eventually, but I will hate myself doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's got to be after a particularly really good week. You have to be in the mood. Like, I'm ready to hate life right now. Let me dig into this.
But thank you for listening.
Thanks so much for listening. Please, if you're listening to this the Saturday it comes out, please join us for the first hour Let's Play the Thursday after.
You can catch most of our first hours. At one point, they were all patron exclusive. Mm-hmm. But most of our 1 hour Let's Plays are available on our YouTube channel, as well as our full game Let's Plays for public use. Patrons get all their Let's Plays over on Patreon. So
yeah. Thanks so much for joining us for this episode. We'll catch you next time, guys.
Bye.
Bye.